I saw my dangerous neighbor with a gun. Now he says I belong to him. My neighbor had always been mysterious, keeping to himself, always arriving in tinted, expensive-looking cars at strange hours, often late at night. I never knew what he did, but there was something about him, the way he moved, the way people looked at him, that screamed danger. One night, I saw him outside, standing by one of those blacked-out cars, a pistol in one hand and a heavy suitcase in the other. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. He turned his head slowly, and when his eyes met mine, he smirked, that slow, arrogant smirk that told me he knew I'd seen too much. It was the kind of look that said I own this moment, and you. The next day, I ran into him at the supermarket, literally. I bumped right into his chest, hard enough that I stumbled back, but before I could apologize, I felt his hand grip my arm, steadying me. He stood tall over me, his eyes locked on mine with a slow, dangerous amusement. That same smirk tugged at his lips as he said, "I saw you last night, and you saw me. Didn't you?" His voice was low, teasing, but it carried an edge that made my skin prickle. Before I could answer, he pulled me closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating off him, his mouth brushing my ear. "We're going to be seeing a lot more of each other, neighbor." Then he let me go, just like that, and walked away, leaving my heart pounding. When I got home later, my stomach dropped, my front door was slightly open. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but instead, I stepped inside cautiously. The place was quiet. I glanced around, grabbed a glass of water to calm myself, and dropped it the second I turned. He was sitting in my armchair like he owned the place, a pistol resting casually in his hand, watching me with that same unreadable gaze. "I knew this would happen eventually," he said, his voice dark and smooth. "I just didn't think it would be this soon." I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. He stood, walking toward me slowly, each step deliberate. When he reached me, he pressed me back against the kitchen counter, his hands gripping my waist as he lifted me effortlessly and set me on it. My knees parted automatically, and suddenly I could feel him between my thighs, hard, unmistakable. His face hovered inches from mine, his smirk deepening. "Scared?" he asked, his voice dripping with mockery. Before I could answer, he tilted his head. "What exactly did you see last night?" I didn't see anything," I managed to whisper. His hand shot up to my throat, firm but not choking, his thumb pressing against my pulse. "Nothing," he repeated. I shook my head. "Nothing," I breathed. His eyes searched mine for a moment, then his lips twisted into something darker, something hungry. In one swift motion, he freed himself, and there was no more space between us. The next minutes were a blur of heat, power, and rough, unrelenting rhythm against the cold surface of the counter. My hands gripped his shoulders, my head falling back, my body betraying every ounce of fear I thought I had. When it was over, he didn't step back right away. He stayed close, his hand cupping my face, his thumb brushing my lower lip. His voice was a low growl when he said, "From now on, this happens every day." Then he stepped back, tucking his weapon away, his smirk the last thing I saw before he walked out of my apartment like nothing had happened, leaving me shaking, breathless, and already craving the next time. He had me every single day. Every night, every morning, sometimes twice a day, always fierce, always unforgettable. Each time, he took me like I was his world, and I gave myself to him completely, craving every touch, every kiss, every whispered command. We moved together like fire and flame, reckless and desperate, leaving no part of ourselves untouched. Weeks passed in a blur of heat and hunger. He never left before sunrise anymore. Some nights we collapsed together, sweaty and trembling, his hands still exploring me, his lips claiming mine again and again. Every touch burned, every kiss seared into memory. I waited for him every single day, my body and mind aching for the moment he would appear. Then one night he came in bloodied, his shirt torn, his shoulder bruised. His eyes were dark, fierce, and tired all at once. "I'm out of the game," he said, voice low. "We leave now. Another state." I didn't care who, what, or why. All I knew was him, and that without him, I didn't want to exist. We packed our things, fast and silent. Before leaving, he grabbed my hand, slid a massive diamond ring onto my finger, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "You're mine. Got it?" I shivered, smiled, and without another word, we drove off into the night.